Welcome to Amplifying Leadership, a podcast where we talk about leadership and all that goes with it, with our guest stories, sharing wins and even challenges. My name is Tara Lehman, and I am a partner, coach, and consultant at Twin Lake Coaching and Business Services, of which Amplifying Leadership is a division. For our leadership clients, we'd love to support you through this podcast, tools, coaching, and more as part of our services. To learn more about our leadership division, please visit amplifyingleadership.ca. Today, I am welcoming Neil Rogers, author of Bar Tips, Everything I Needed to Know in Sales I Learned from Behind the Bar. Welcome to the show, and I love the title of the book.
Thanks, Tara. Thanks for having me. Wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I always like to start my podcast with helping our audience understand where you come from in your leadership story. So why don't you share that first?
Well, it's interesting. So my leadership really stems from my time, the fundamentals that I learned in the hospitality business, and we profess those to this day. My wife, my partner in life and in business, was also in the hospitality business with me. I was bartender; she was a food server, and we agreed upon all these tips as we finished up the book. So when I was struggling to get my footing and decide where I'm going to go, I went back. I had to go back to school. When I decided sales was going to be my way to go, I went back to school, and I'd already struck out a couple of times at school.
Okay.
And I put in a process. Now that I had a vision, I had some passion. Prior to that, it was just kind of like, going along. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. And I went along, and I went back to school, but I developed a process, or in today's parlance, an algorithm. Right?
Algorithm, yes.
So, and again, for your listeners out there, we will not be splitting the atom here. We won't be deep diving into anything or any of the new latest buzzwords from Neil. It's all pretty fundamental. So to go back to school and be good at that, I think so. If we take another quick little step back, I mean, leadership starts with yourself. I believe. If you can lead yourself, you now could lead. You have an opportunity to lead others. So I went back to school, and I decided that, well, number one, they like you to show up.
Yes, they do.
They like that.
Yeah.
They like that you take notes and you're paying attention. You're actively listening. You're asking a question. You're participating when they ask a question, and all these things are fundamentals in sales. You organize yourself properly. If they put a number on the blackboard, use it. Where does their office hours? Go and see them. And so this brought me from a twice failed out community college student to a 4-year degree at a 3.85 student.
Wow, congratulations.
So just turned it right around. But I did it in a fundamental and process way. So everything that I did when I got into sales, everything I did out of the gate, nobody reported to me at this time. But I was always top producer, or in the top 5%.
Right.
And did it basically by showing up, by taking notes, by listening. Ooh, here's a good one. By taking ownership when a business problem arises.
Love that. Yes.
Right. Looking right, having the proper attitude, putting time in to learn more about my craft or whatever the products I'm selling or whatever process or procedures I needed to follow, and then overall being helpful. So in our business today, so now we do have a team. We have for the last 27 years, we've had a small business that we've operated out of the home. Everybody's virtual. We're the originals of the virtual people. Always work. I mean, I've never had an office, and I've been selling for almost 40 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I've always been, I'm one of the original high deductibles. I know that's a little foreign to you guys up there. But the way that we do insurance down here for independent business people, sure, we'll give you insurance. Here's your premium. Here's your deductible.
Oh, it's very high.
$12,000.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
But you get used to it, and you stay healthy, right?
Yeah.
So, so yeah. So when we so we lead our team with the same fundamentals that I developed to be a good student, that I developed to be a good sales rep, because we are in the sales business. We don't look beyond that which is right in front of us. We're not looking to chase the new shiny red tech toy. We want to send people things. We use handwritten notes. We thank them profusely. We greet them properly. When we show up, we are organized. We also, oh, by the way, we also show up on time. And you know what on time is? 15 minutes early.
Early. Yes. Yes.
So these are the ways that we show our team leadership, and also, continue to lead ourselves and continue to grow our business. We had in our small business, we had a million three client implode on us last year. We didn't lose them; they lost themselves. They went out.
Right.
They went out to the public at $17 in July, and we're trading in the cents in January.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
So what did we do? We went back to our process, our procedures, our simple way of doing things. And then we basically win people over time, slow and steady.
Build those relationships.
And that goes from the time that we take the order or solicit the business to the time that the order is paid. We give them communication all along the way, so they know what's happening all along the way. So we're in the promotional marketing business, so the corporate logo stuff. But we've been doing that for 27 years. So
wow, yes,
that's kind of my encapsulated 40-year journey of trying to figure out, from pouring drinks to selling tchotchkes.
Well, I love it, and you said so many words that just speak to my heart when you're talking leadership. I mean, things like the self-leadership. You're right. We need that. We absolutely have to lead ourselves before we can lead a team. It's the planes. You're on the planes and they say to put the mask on yourself first before you help others. You need to have self-leadership before you can lead. So I love that you bring that up. I think that that's really, really important. The other one is having that vision. And I think that vision is then what can lead you to leadership, so to speak. And I think that that's what you saw in yourself, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that I can do more and I can succeed at school, and then create the process to go along with it. And so I love that you bring up vision, because I think that that's really, really important. So how did you realize that, you created that vision, or that you needed to create that vision originally?
Well, when I graduated high school, I was 17 years old. I'm the seventh of 8 of an Irish Catholic family in the Boston area. And, they get a little tired towards number 7. So, who's paying attention, and not that back in those days, today we've got our kids mapped out from DNA right up until, I think my daughter's 30, or going to be 35 years old. We're still concerned with her, even though she's all set. I mean, really all set.
Do we ever not?
Yeah. It's like you just they're never. So I was really kind of lost. I mean, I went to my mother in May of my senior year and said, am I supposed to be doing something? I'm hearing people talk about getting college visit. Not that there were a lot of them, but there were a lot of, I've been learning a lot more about my classmates that you went to MIT. Real MIT is a pretty prestigious technical college down here.
Yeah.
So you went to MIT? Who knew that? Oh, you were a golf. You got a scholarship in golf, Chuck? I didn't even know you played golf. But so when I failed the first time at school, and it really wasn't that my academic intelligence was not, it was middle of the road. It's certainly not, top notch in terms of getting it right out of the gate and whatnot. Other things I get right out of the gate. but the true aha moment was when after I failed, I was working in Boston at a place called the Wharf, which no longer exists. It actually turned into another place called the Boston Sail-Off, which ironically enough, I worked there too
Oh,
later on. And so while I was at the Wharf, I was working back at the house, and then I finally got behind the bar as a bar back. I don't know if you're familiar with what a bar back is, but a bar back is the people behind the bar that are doing all the back breaking work, getting
yeah,
the case
the
of
hard
beer,
stuff.
refilling ice,
Yeah.
refilling the empties, and all that. So they doing so, and which was fun because now I'm out in front. I'm a young guy. There's beautiful women. And it was a really hot place, right? And so, but now I'm watching the bartenders. I say, you know what? That looks cool. I want to try that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that was really my criteria for doing it out the gate. I just want to be cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not a career path or anything. So I decided I'll set my sights on getting a bar job. And I knew of a guy that was going to be taking over as the manager at a place where we summer, part of America's hometown, Plymouth, Massachusetts, Whitehorse Beach.
Okay.
The name of the place was the Full Sail. Not that's germane to anybody out there in your listening audience, however. So I got the job. I got the job first as a doorman, and so now I'm doing all the bar backing stuff again, getting the ice, taking out the trash, all that stuff. And because there wasn't a bar job available, and then one came available, and he said, "Do you want the day job?" I said, "I'm in." So now a couple of things happened for me there. I set my sights on something, and I got it. Right. So now I'm back there, and I'm learning all the ins and outs about that. Most importantly, how to look cool. Right. So I poured my first drink, put it down in front of the person. They took a sip out of it, and they went, "Wow, that's pretty good." So I almost immediately, it wasn't me, this was an aha moment that I write about in my book, that's where I said, well, hold on. Maybe this is a path, that I could be good at, that I enjoy, that I have these skills that I'm not going to be an engineer. I'm not going to be a doctor. Although I was pretty good in accounting, but it was that, but I said, people would say to me after a while, after I floundered, kept on, I was doing this, I was having fun, I was young. But the drinking age in the area was 18 at the time, so I was 19 years old. I can't imagine walking into a bar now with a 19-year-old baby face behind the bar.
Like shocking.
So we so I decided. So here's another swing and a miss. I decided to go and try hotel restaurant school. That didn't work out either. Let's just say, let's wrap it into one little package of saying, I lacked focus.
Okay.
But now people are saying to me, and I also decided that it was something I didn't want to do for the rest of my life. That I needed something else. Didn't know what that was going to be. And people had suggested, because of my interpersonal skills, sales might be a good route for you, Neil. So that was really where it all started. And that's when the path started. And that's when I said, oh, my goodness, I failed at school. How am I going to get through this? How am I going to get to the other side of this? I do need a degree in order to get a decent job. And, then you've heard that story, and that's the way that went.
It's interesting that you bring up that, that vision of you want to be in a different spot, because I had this same thing. I was in a cubicle and there was a spare office, and I would look at it and think to myself, I want that spare office. What do I need to do to get that spare office? And a year later, I was working in accounting and I was in the office. So, sometimes just having those visions, that's just that one step forward, not the ultimate goal, actually can also help you with the long-term goals and visions that you have as well. So I love your story because it reminded me of mine.
Well, we're big into putting our thoughts out there, and because they can become your reality.
They can. If you have that belief in yourself and the belief in your leadership and the belief in what you can do, absolutely, almost anything is possible. I
Hold
do
on.
want to cut.
Hold on. Look what is right over here. Always near and dear.
Oh, yes, Think and Grow Rich. Good book. Yes, absolutely. The great book.
So there it
So
is. Get your
it's,
desire, get your
yeah,
plan.
and go for it. Do what you need to go
Some of the
for it.
stuff in there is get a mastermind group. I'm doing all that stuff.
Hmm. I want to touch on communication before we wrap up today because it is a huge part. And obviously, when your leadership journey came, you talk about the pen and paper, and I have my pen and my paper right now in front of me if I need to take notes. And you talked about communication as being obviously a huge part, but it's not just obviously in sales. You can take all of that knowledge and skills that you have from sales and put it into leading a team. So if you think about, some of the key pieces of communication in sales, which ones would you say are the best when it comes to leadership and that perhaps our new leaders should be trying to grow?
I think it's got to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be concise.
Yes.
It's got to be frequent.
Mm-hmm.
And no
Yes.
big buzzwords here. Don't have to break out the thesaurus with Neil. Clear, concise, frequent,
Yeah.
and have an understanding of what their needs are. So so you're getting you're getting feedback from them directly.
And I think I like what you say about just we don't need these big words or these crazy acronyms or anything. It is really the KISS method, the keep it simple method for communication.
I do a whole
Any,
talk on tech is no. It's entitled "Tech is no threat to me."
mm-hmm,
Tech is and then the last line of the speech is tech is no threat to me. Tech is my friend, but it
mm-hmm,
assists me in all those other things that we talk about, like the importance of a proper greeting.
mm-hmm,
How organized are you? What are your time management skills? What does your product knowledge look like? What is your peripheral knowledge? What is that, Neil? Peripheral knowledge are those things that are not directly in your business, but they're in your business, but maybe not in your company. It's
mm-hmm,
knowledge that you have about what other people might be able to do where your customers can be helped.
mm-hmm,
Give you a quick little bar example on that. Why not,
mm-hmm.
right? From a
Yeah.
bartender. So you walk into a restaurant, you get steak on your mind. I'd like to have a nice fillet tonight. You walked in, you didn't know it was a seat. You didn't know. You just kind of walked in. You're walking Boston. You walk into Tia's, where one of the places I work.
Okay.
Tia's was a seafood restaurant. Tia's was more of a bar than it was. I mean, it was a high end bar than it was a restaurant. It was it was a good restaurant, but it was known for its after five stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on the bar, we didn't even serve food at night because it was
Okay.
all liquor. But on a day, someone would come in and you're working later on in the day. They might come up and say, "What do you have for steak?" I said, "Well, we have a steak on the menu." Now I got a decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
Do I push my steak, the one and only, in a seafood restaurant? Or do I tell these people that if they go through that lobby right there of the hotel and take a left, the Chart House has every cut you need?
Mm,
What
okay.
is it you're looking for? So one of the things I talk about when I interweave my hospitality background into my sales background is I define hospitality as something that you would do for a customer that might not directly benefit you. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
no direct relationship between the sale, the commission, or the margin.
Right.
It
Yes.
is I did something for you. I feel good about that. I think you're going to feel good about it because when you go over there and you have your nice glass of wine that's going to pair perfectly with your fillet,
Mm-hmm.
with these waitresses and waiters that are in aprons and the whole steak place thing, you're going to be thankful that
Yes.
I sent you that way.
And they're absolutely going to remember you,
That's it. And
right?
that's how you build. And, it's like, well, we go to them. Why? Because they take care of us. Phil
Yeah.
Richardson, one of the greatest bartenders of all time. Every time I went to Boston, I'd have to go see Phil. Just have to go see him because I know I was going to have a good conversation.
Yeah.
He was going to, he was going to act professionally, and he was going to take care of me. And I don't mean give me free drinks or anything. Just give me good service.
Yeah. And I think serving your teams and serving your customers is the way to build those relationships where you can actually then see growth later, because sometimes it doesn't come right away. But that person is going to remember, Neil behind the bar who sent them to this awesome restaurant. Maybe after they eat, comes for a drink. You never know, because that relationship has been built. And I think that that's a great piece of communication, is building the relationship not only with your team, but with your customers.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. If you were to give our audience today that big takeaway that they could learn from you and help build their leadership skills, what would you say that would be?
I kind of give you a hint earlier.
Okay.
It's taking ownership when
Yes.
a problem arises.
That is a
Being
great
right.
tip.
You ready for this one?
Uh-huh.
Folks out there in the audience, being right, it's overrated.
Yes. Yes.
Don't
We all
hold
make,
on because you just don't want to admit maybe you did something wrong. Maybe
yeah.
a little bit. You had a part in it, because it's the way that we resolve all of our issues with our customers. I had one yesterday. Again, we're in the corporate logo business. But we're a distributor. We're in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
One of my vendors shipped this customer, new customer, small startup company, love to work with startups and give them, get them going, help them go, and all that. And he was supposed to get these tumblers, white tumblers with their logo on it. The vendor shipped them without any logos on. So we took care of that. We got it right back, scrapped the bill, the whole night, just did everything. It's like, and so then the next round he wound up putting them in the dishwasher. Well, that's a no-no. And in the cup, in the tumbler itself, there's a sheet that says washing instructions. You
Right.
don't put these in. Don't put these in. You gotta hand wash. But at the time, I didn't know that. I mean, I knew it in my back of my head. So he called me, and so I'm feeling awful for this guy, and so he essentially, when we had our conversation yesterday, said, well, I mean, is that something you should have told me? I said, you know what? Yeah, maybe I should have. So why don't we just not, if you really don't want those, I mean, I will tell you this, in 27 years, nobody's ever said, and I hate when people say that to me, well, it's never happened before. Well, guess what? We don't know if it's never happened before.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody stayed silent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, if it's a problem, don't worry about it. We'll take them off the bill.
Mm-hmm. Keep those customers happy.
I can argue, it's like, because it's in the thing, it's in the paper, and guess what happened? He's keeping them.
Oh, that's awesome. It's about serving that customer, right? Yeah.
So
what a great takeaway.
Set your ego aside and find out what was your role in the issue,
and own it.
With your vendors, your people, your customers, all of them. We've got great vendor relations because of that, because we're always willing to take our part. We're just looking for some cooperation here. We get it. People make mistakes.
Yes, we are all human.
$100,000 mistake, but
Yeah. Well, and I think all leaders need to own their own mistakes so that they can learn from them and learn from their team, so that everybody can serve the customers better in the long run. So I love your key takeaway today. Thank you for that. If our audience want to learn more about you, or maybe even your book, is there a way they can find you online?
Yes. So the best place to go is our program is called positiveactivity.net is the website. So positiveactivity.net. The program that goes with that is well, the ditty that goes with that is positive activity is the practice, because we don't think anything's perfect, because we're yogis. We're just going in every day and trying to get a nice workout in the room.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the practice of getting your mindset in a place of positivity, which leads you to open-minded, divergent thinking, solution providing. So now you're creativity. So now you're in a place where you don't see problems. You only see solutions because your mind is right. And then then that leads to productivity. Now, what your productivity steps are, that's really up to you. In our book, we outline a number of steps in business development that we've used tried and true for the last, in some way, shape, or form, since I've been selling, which has propelled the whole sales career. So we speak on that. It's a whole program on that. That's something I share with my wife. She's brilliant at the mindset piece. She's brilliant at it all. But really, she's done a lot with the mindset piece. So yeah,
Awesome.
positiveactivity.net, and you see the little click there to Amazon to buy the book. Review would be wonderful for those.
Yes, of course.
Willing. And
That's
so far,
awesome.
it's been. Who knew that the guy with a C average in English could write a book? But trust me out there, for all you salespeople that might have been more interpersonally intelligent than academic intelligent, like me. I wrote a book I could read. Short, concise, big font, no big words. And I did that based on a book called On Writing Well. Anybody's considering writing a book, read On Writing Well by Howard Zenzer.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that resource as well. It's very appreciated.
Sure.
It was wonderful to have you.
Let's call that peripheral knowledge. Just
yes.
giving a hand to everybody out there.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your stories with us today and for being on our show.
Thank you, Tara. Lovely.
A big thank you, of course, to our listeners as well. We do hope that you're taking away some key points to help you grow on your leadership path. If you are new to leadership or even a seasoned leader who knows that support and developing your skills are the way to moving forward, or perhaps you want to join our leadership community, please visit us at amplifyingleadership.ca, a twin life coaching and business services division. Until next time, please be safe and be an amazing leader or leader to be.